I'm just on the back end of a depression, a mini depression. Periodically, I get struck by these short-lived bouts of depression. They usually last about 3 or 4 days. The middle day of the 3 days is often pretty bad. Today's the 4th day, so really I'm on the tail end of it. If anyone's suffered from depression that's watching this, it's a bit like getting hit over the head with a sledgehammer, and well, I'd compare it sort of to a concussion, which I have a lot of experience with. It's hard to make decisions, and it's hard to even assess what's going on. Small things become really, really difficult. Just getting out of bed is ridiculously hard. So anyways, here I am, forcing myself to do something. I said I was going to do these YouTube videos, so that's what I'm doing. Yeah, so anyway, I just came out of the depression today, and I was hit by life with the fact that my car isn't covered by insurance and hasn't been covered for some while. The payments haven't been going through, so now I have to pay up, obviously. But not only that, to renew, because they've canceled my insurance. So if I was to renew my insurance, I would have to pay it out in one chunk, which would be $1,200, which might as well be $1 million practically to me. I mean, not really, because I can rustle that up somehow. But my credit card is maxed out, so that pays for my internet bill and my electricity bill, my phone bill. So those things might, cut out. Obviously not. Obviously I'll figure it out, but it just feels pretty bleak, and it's just rough to have that hit you right on the tail end of a depression. You're just sort of coming out of it, and then life punches you right in the nose again. And then yesterday I got the news that I got a fine for the truck that I'm driving, which is borrowed from a friend. So they got sent a speeding fine. So I feel like the world's biggest asshole. And I said, oh, I'll pay immediately. So now, so today's been about trying to rustle up the money to pay off that fine. Anyway, the good thing is, I think I'm a pessimist, and being a pessimist, one sort of expects life to be a series of hurdles. I don't really get people who think that the default for life, for existence, is kind of nice. It takes a lot of work. It's a miracle every time I flush the toilet and my excrement leaves the building within a matter of seconds. I never have to deal with it ever again. I don't have to toss it anywhere. It's just gone. That's miraculous. That's unbelievable. It's shocking that humans have managed the time and organization to do all the things that they've done. That's amazing to me. I'm often surprised when I'm in a crowded area, like a movie theater, that everyone just sort of sits placidly and in full we all know we're going to die, and we all know it's going to be, well, we don't all know it's going to be unpleasant, but we can assume it's probably going to suck. It's probably going to be painful. It's probably going to be drawn out over a long period of time. You're probably going to be aware of the fact that you're dying. And you know that every day of your whole life, maybe not when you're a baby, but as soon as you are sort of conscious of your surroundings, you become aware that you're going to die. And maybe that doesn't affect you until, I don't know, you're in your teens, and then you become dark. But it's incredible that we behave in a civilized manner, knowing that that's just the inevitable outcome for all of us, just dying and lots of pain. And everyone you know is also going to die, and it's going to be painful. And everyone you love, they're going to die, and it's going to be painful. And if you have kids, they're going to suffer through the same thing. I know this sounds really dark, and it is, but I guess being a pessimist and sort of accepting or acknowledging, I definitely don't accept it. I'm always complaining and I'm always miserable and stuff, but I guess having a certain amount of awareness that life is pretty brutal and it's just going to keep on punching you over and over again, no matter what. It seems hard to me to sort of then blame the world. You get to a certain point where you're like, oh, okay, I get it. This is sort of the game. This is what's up. I just need to bear with it. And then if you want things to get better, you have to really, really work hard at it. And even then, you're just sort of forestalling the inevitable. Bad things are still going to happen, but maybe it's going to be less bad. I mean, it's amazing. You see it out there, and I suspect that it's not total bullshit, but some people actually do live a life that seems to be more happy than it is miserable. The scales are tilted towards things being pretty okay. And that's a hopeful thing. But one also can't expect that to sort of be a usual outcome. That's not the modus operandi of life. It's just not likely unless you really, really work for it or are unbelievably lucky. But I don't even believe there are people like that who are unbelievably lucky. I think it takes just a lot of buckling down and hard work and discipline. And I don't mean just rich. I mean to be a happy, balanced person who has deep, meaningful connections with other people, and just derive a sense of satisfaction and wellness from all the things they do and all the things that they're surrounded by. So that, well, I don't want to call it a philosophy, that paradigm of pessimism in a way is quite an empowering one, because it really puts all the power onto the individual. It says the world sucks, it's not going to get better. You can either cry about it, which is totally reasonable, but won't lead to anywhere except further encounters with pain and suffering, which I didn't get when I was younger. Stupidly, I don't quite know how to describe this sentiment, but I've described it as through the expression, I was someone who'd cut off my nose to spite my face. But who knows why? It's almost like, because I wasn't religious, but it's almost like well, an unconscious belief in God or something watching, something to get back at, right? Getting back at existence. You know, so when life dealt me a bad hand, I felt like I could get back at it and be like, yeah, you think you're gonna fuck me up? I can fuck me up worse than you can fuck me up, and then who's gonna cry, type of thing. Obviously me. But I remember my dad once saying to me, I was embarrassingly old at this point, but he said, there was context to this, he didn't just say this out of the blue, but he said something about how if I stub my toe on a rock, you know, there's no point to get angry at the rock, right? He said that rhetorically, but my instinct, I don't know if I actually voiced it, but my impulse was to say, no, fuck that rock. That rock and everything else should just get the hell out of the way, and things should be seamless. There shouldn't be so much friction. I guess that's a very teenage way of seeing the world. I think, you know, you're a kid, everything seems really nice. So maybe that's where lots of people have this expectation that the world has a nice default mode, because when they're kids, that is the default. Things are nice. You're generally happy. You're playing with toys and everything's kind of taken care of for you. And then once in a while your puppy or your dog dies, and that's tragic, but the rest of the time it's all lollipops and bike rides and whatever else, cotton candy, clowns, whatever. So then you hit your teenage years and you realize, oh shit, this isn't reality. Things are really crappy, but why is that? And then you naturally get angry at the world. And then some people carry that off into adulthood. I think a lot of people, a lot of millennials, such as myself, have carried that into adulthood, which for us is really just a prolonged adolescence. So no, I know I'm very long-winded, and probably especially now. But so let's make it personal. It has been totally personal, but let's be personal again, and let me reiterate, because I love to hear the sound of my own voice. I'm depressive. I'm struggling with, mental illness in that regard. I'm broke as all hell. I'm indebted. And the worst thing is people are helping me, so I can't even complain that no one's there to support me. I know that should be a good thing. It is a great thing. I'm very fortunate. But I think when one is depressed, you become very good at putting a negative spin on everything. And so people helping me out, people caring about me and give me a hand, lending me trucks and lending me money and not letting me live out on the street. It's fantastic, but it's awfully embarrassing. And it's just another slap in the face. And it also makes one feel so incredibly indebted, because if someone lends me a vehicle or lends me a couple $100 here or there, that's so... to me, it's disproportionately worth what that particular item or sum is in the average general world. And so because I receive it and it's so huge, and that those niceties have such a huge positive impact on my life, which is a great thing. I should be grateful for, and I am. you feel you feel like you owe all these people $1,000,000. You know, you feel like, okay, shit, now I'm gonna get on my feet, and it's a lifetime of servitude. I have to be servile, and yeah, it's like some kind of emotional what's the word? It's not indentured servitude. That's the word I was looking for. Emotional indentured servitude. Anyway, I wanted to end with a positive spin. So back to the pessimist thing. So I'm a pessimist. Everything sucks. The life is pain, hell. It's highly unpleasant, and it seems endlessly so until the final end, which seems highly unpleasant. And that's the world, and one has to accept that. And therefore, that's an immovable. And that's great, because you have control over something. It's very small, but you have control over it. And that's yourself. You can make yourself possibly better. You can work hard. You can stop bad habits. You can inculcate into your life good habits. And hopefully turn the tide in your favor ever so slightly. And then also you can have a bit more gratitude for the incredible things that you have, especially if you live in a civilized part of the world. You have really nothing to complain about. You have a roof over your head and a place to crap. Things could always be worse.